I'm Carl Walters. I work in Shepparton in the environmental world, but really I'm from Tatura. I'm chair of the Community Plan Committee. So Tatura Community Planning Committee is about trying to line up all the things that happen in Tatura that we want to improve, and helping community people come up with ways of doing that. And so that ranges from all sorts of things, to public transport connection to I don't know, walking tracks, which is the current vibe, walking tracks, bike tracks, and then probably as well putting things on the table that we want council to actually address for town. And that could be where we want funding to go, like McTeer Park, those sorts of things. So and we started with a committee of about 6 or 7 with the community plan when it first got going, about 6, 7 years ago. I've been chair ever since, but now we've got 19 on that committee, which, as Leanne knows, is broad and wide-ranging views, and we try and get as representation from as many people as we can, and the different groups around town. So we've got a whole document there, which everyone sees the whole big documents. But the reality is, our community plan is about creating something that allows almost any project that's a good idea to get through. So we've got what's the most recent ones. The most recent ones have been walking track extension. So we've got a plan for a 10-kilometre loop around TAT, but that doesn't mean it's just 10-kilometre loop. It means all the other bits that connect. And then there's exercise equipment proposed. Things like the RV parking in behind the main street there. That's been a three-year struggle to get approved. It's been approved as a pilot through council, which is great. So that was one of the pushes. The Christmas decorations in the main street, Stuart Mock Place, the Christmas tree this year. We want to have more decorations than just that, but that's part of the whole vibe that Leanne was part of last year, getting that Christmas market going. So it's those sorts of improvements. So that's one, the biggest one we've had for the longest period of time, 13 years of pushing for McTeer Park to be expanded. And we had a McTeer Park master plan that we want to acquire the vacant bit of land opposite the police station and turn that into an extension of the park. But it's owned by Victrac, bless their hearts, and we're trying to buy it off them through council, and that's been a 13-year process, and we haven't given up yet. Maybe they'll give up first, but anyway, so that's the sort of stuff. But and in the end, it's really any good idea. So the signage that comes into town, we've got them all now. The signage that comes into town, it sort of says what's on in town. Someone came to us and said, we'd like to do that. I said, okay, right. We didn't really do it. We just told them who to talk to and how to work the system to actually get that to happen. Yeah. And really, that's what it's all about, the connections. And even where we are now with the helping hand stuff, it's really, you're driving out of a community house, we're just trying to create a few extra connections and to get it to work, because it's good. It's interesting. I'm fortunate, well, we're both fortunate. We've been able to work. I can work from home full time. Sue works at the hospital as a nurse, so we're still working, so not really directly. The only effect really is we haven't been able to see our kids, and we haven't been able to see our friends around town. So we have like a virtual thing that we run. Council paid for my Zoom license, so we can share it with all the community groups around town to use this Zoom stuff. So we have also a Zoom community happy hour that we have every second week. So we get about 24 people online, and then we sit around and have a few drinks and have a chat virtually.
Fantastic.
But it's just part of the connection.
Yeah.
So apart from that, because you're home, you don't have to travel, and you can't go anywhere on weekends. You do more around here, like you grow veggies and garden, and Sue's got a list of maintenance to do, and we try and do things.
And has she done them all yet, Carl?
No. Sue's done a fair bit of hers. I keep pretending to work in my office and study. There's lots. And I know there's people who, we've got people out of work, there's businesses are closing and that sort of stuff, but a few of the upsides have been, I think, been going for a walk every morning and you see people walking around, walking tracks that you've never seen before. There are people walking everywhere. And I think that's been really good. I think people have been sharing stuff, so people making their own, or cooking their own food, sharing that with others, catching up with other people, making sure they're okay. We hear about people leaving eggs on their neighbour's doorstep just because they might need eggs. Those sorts of things. I think people have sort of shifted back 30 years maybe, or 40 years, and said, well, we're actually part of a community. I think the businesses, have some of them doing okay. They've shifted across to delivering, and people are really latched onto that now. And I think that's the way, hopefully we retain a bit of that stuff. But I think what's really interesting is watching how many people are doing things at home where they used to rush around on weekends. Now people are at home. So you spend time at home and they do things at home. We've got friends who are finally maintaining the outsides of their houses. They've never done any maintenance before, and all of a sudden think, oh, this is pretty good. So, yeah, people miss lots of things. You miss the footy and you miss the other things. You miss the sport and the interaction, but in the end, you're replacing it with things that take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So it's been good. Even though we can't really catch up with friends, we're probably closer to our friends. And when you see them, it's more, you make the most of that time. You might bump into them randomly as you're wandering along the street, being socially distanced. But the reality is, when you catch up with people, even people you don't really know, you have them saying hello to you. I had someone yell out the other day from across the street, "G'day, how you going?" And I didn't know who they were. They were on the other side of the road. We were just walking, And even this morning, Sue yelled out to someone across the road. I didn't know who it was. She just said hello. But it's how you connect, and people seem to be taking the opportunity to connect more than they used to. So I used to go walking every morning. I started walking again when we got locked down. So I go walking. We go for a walk every morning. Take a picture of the sunrise every morning, whatever time that is. And so first few weeks I was wearing headphones and listening to the news and listening to whatever. And I stopped doing that, And when you see others now who used to, no one wears headphones anymore.
Yeah.
They've all ditched that stuff and just out for a walk. So I think that's just a sign that they want to connect a bit more, rather than be in your own little world.
Yeah.
Even the grumpy man who walks around town never talks to anyone, says hello to you now,
That's right.
which is really quite
Frightening.
funny. Yeah. I think when they're fully lifted, when they're partly lifted, so catching up with our kids would be good. The first virtual happy hour will be funny, I reckon. The first real happy hour will be funny. And I think what's really interesting is the things are lifted a little bit and people are allowed to go and see their friends and that, but they're actually not really. I think everyone's still a little bit nervous. But I think just being out and about will be good. I still think that people's habits will change. So people talk about it takes 6 weeks to change a habit or develop a habit. I think this has been long enough to develop some of those habits, and I think a lot of things will become normal. Lots of people started veggie gardens, and that'll become what they do. And I hope that sort of stuff continues. And which is in the end, like the Slow Food Society, those sorts of things. That should be about taking some time, and which has been good.